Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Shri Govinda Gopina Madana Mohan, Shri Govinda Gopina Madana Mohan, Shri Govinda Gopina Madana Mohan. Gaura Pranamandi ki jai. राधा धुंध राही किसने मेरा श्याम देखा, बोलो श्याम देखा, गन श्याम देखा, राधा धुंध राही किसने मेरा श्याम देखा, बोलो राधा आई, किसने मेरा श्याम देखा, श्याम देखा, गन श्याम देखा, बोलो श्याम देखा, गन श्याम देखा, श्याम देखा, गन श्याम देखा, श्याम देखा, गन श्याम देखा, बोलो श्याम देखा, गन श्याम देखा, राधा तेरा श्याम हम मथुरा में देगा, राजा तेरा श्याम हम मथुरा में देगा, बांसी बजाते हुए राजा तेरा श्याम देगा, बोलो बांसी मिल देगा राजा राजा तेरा श्याम हमको तुमको मिल देगा अच्छा गाते हुए राजा तेरा श्याम देगा मेरा श्याम देगा बोलो राजा श्याम देगा श्याम देगा बोलो श्याम देगा श्याम देगा श्याम देगा श्याम देगा राजा तेरा नाम हम वृंदावन में देगा राजा तेरा श्याम हम वृंदावन में देगा रचाते हुए राजा तेरा श्याम देगा बोलो श्याम देगा श्याम देगा बोलो श्याम देगा 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 राजा श्याम हमें समाहित में देगा राजा तेरा श्याम हमें समाहित में देगा राजा तेरा श्याम हमें समाहित में देगा राजा तेरा श्याम हमें समाहित में देगा राजा जोगराजी किसी ने मेरा श्याम देगा बोलो राजा जोगराजी किसी ने मेरा श्याम देगा श्याम देगा श्याम देगा श्याम देगा श्याम Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bolo. Make it louder. Louder. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Tat Varnadar Tu hi Natavara Tu hi Nagara Tu hi Natavara Tu hi Nagara Tu hi Balamukunda Bhajani Madhagovinda Nanda Bhajani Madhagovinda Shama Sundar Mukunda Bhajani Madhagovinda Sham Mukha Chandra Bhajani Madhagovinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo सब देवन में कृष्ण जी भले सब देवन में कृष्ण जी भले तारो बिच चंद्रा बजर मन गोविंदा Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare सखियन में राधा जी बाजे सब सखियन में राधा जी बाजे जो नदियों में गंगा जोर मन गोविंदा Govinda Govinda Gopala Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala Yashodanandana Vajajanandana Yashodanandana Vajajanandana Yashodanandana Vajajanandana Jamuna Dira Vanachari Jamuna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Chitra Chora Yasoda Ke Bhav Navanita Chora Gopal, Hey Gopal. Hey Gopal, Gopal, Hey Gopal. Chita Chora Yasoda, Chita Chora Nanda Kiva, Govardhana Dari Gopal, Chita Chora Nanda Kiva, Govardhana Dari Gopal, Hey Gopal, 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 Gopal. Hey Gopal, Gopal, Hey Gopal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Granth Raj ki jai, Bolo Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. I think my book bag is back there, all the way against the wall. Hare Krishna. Tonight we're going to quickly hear about how to escape all the problems of life. If nobody has any problems, please raise your hand. That's what I thought. So this is an interesting subject, how to get rid of all the problems of life without committing suicide. Right. So we're going to depend on the Bhagavad Gita for the solution. Actually, the solution is the 7th chapter, 14th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Whenever you think, I have so many problems, what am I going to do? Just remember 7:14. 7:14. Bhagavad Gita 7:14. That's the solution to all the problems in two simple lines. Devihi esu gunamayi, mama maya duratya, mam evaye papadyante, mayam etam tarantite. Krishna says, it is virtually impossible to overcome the negative effects of the material nature. Can you overcome Hurricane Katrina? No. Can you overcome the brain cancer that you have? Very difficult. Can you overcome the heart valve that doesn't work? Well, maybe for a little while. Right? Can you overcome your neighbor that's giving you trouble? No, never. So, one way or other, we have a lot of trouble in life. Kalmasa, as they say in Sanskrit. So it says it's virtually impossible to overcome these problems. But Mam evaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. For one who surrenders unto me, Krishna says, it's very easy to overcome. So it's almost impossible on our own, virtually impossible. But one who surrenders unto the Krishna is very easy. So this is the solution. Now we're going to discuss more deeply this solution, because I think this is an interesting subject, because I don't know anybody that's not having trouble, unless they're smoking marijuana and lying. Even in India, you see the Babas on the bank of the Ganga smoking ganja, right? If you say, Baba, sab tike, tike. They don't have any problem. They're just smoking ganja. But they have problems also. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 27th verse, first of all, the problem is explained, the cause of the problem. It says, Ichidvesa samuttena, drandra mohena bharata, sarvabhutani samoham sargayanti parantapa. This verse says, O Arjuna, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate. This is our problem. Everyone that's born, there's no exception. First of all, they're born crying. Have you ever seen a child born laughing? Huh? I once asked this, some lady said, yes, my kid was born laughing. I can't argue with her, you know. But that would be an exception, right? Most kids are like that, screaming their heads off. So everyone is born, this verse says, let's put the English, bro. Born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, arisen from desire and hate. So, when we have the wrong desires, we get into trouble. Just like when your kid has the wrong desire, he wants to play with matches in the house, he gets into trouble. Or when your child has the wrong desire, they only want to eat candy and no broccoli, they get into trouble. Or when your child lies, no, mommy, I didn't eat the sweets. I only ate my vegetables, but the sweets are missing. So they get into trouble. We get into trouble by desiring the wrong thing. So education is how to desire the right thing in life. Now, what is the right thing? If you're drowning and somebody comes up to you in a boat and they say, hey, my friend, this is your lucky day. Here's 2 tickets to the next baseball game. Now, you don't need 2 tickets. When you're drowning, you don't need 2 tickets to a baseball game. You say, look, get me out of here first, then you give me whatever you want to give me. But free me first I'm dying. So when you're drowning, you know what you want, and you won't settle for anything less. You want to get free of drowning in the water. You want someone to take you into the safety of the boat. Right? So therefore, we could analyze that example and understand that we don't really know what we want during most of our life. We think, I want a new car, I want a new house, I want a new this, I want a new that. All those things get old, and eventually we throw them away. Just like when I remember at Christmas, we would buy all our kids, we had 6 children, all these toys. They're all junk toys. They were all broken in a few hours. And 1 or 2 days or 2 weeks later, they're in the garbage can, forgotten. It's like the newspaper. You buy the newspaper, oh, headline, Obama is giving free money to everyone. Oh, I want to read about this. And then the next day, you throw it out, forgotten. Next day, oh no, Obama's raising taxes. Oh, I don't want that newspaper. So you see, we don't really know what we want. And education is learning to desire the right thing. But if you think about it, what do we want? We want to be happy. We want to be peaceful. We want love. And we don't want to get old, to get sick and die. Now, there's no doctor that can guarantee that you'll never get old, you never get sick, and you never die. And there's no one in this world that can guarantee you that you'll be happy, peaceful, and full of love your whole life. No one can guarantee that. They don't know how to guarantee it. They would go bankrupt if they made the guarantee. The first time you're unhappy, you would say, give me my money back. So, the only person that can guarantee that is Krishna Bhagavan. But we have to follow the process. This is a scientific process. You do this, you do that, under these conditions, this is the result you get. It's scientific. But if you make mistakes in the procedure, you don't get the result. So, we're trying to first develop proper desires. And then next, we develop proper procedures to achieve those proper desires. That's called real education. Okay, so to understand, we do not belong in this world. We're here, but we don't belong here. How do we know that? Because nobody likes to suffer, nobody likes to get old, nobody likes to get sick, and nobody likes to die. So therefore, this is not the type of place where we can achieve the type of happiness, peace, and love that we want. Does that mean we have to go to the moon? No. The moon is even worse than here. For us. Does that mean we move from India to America? Well, a lot of people have done that. Are you happier here than in India? Some people will say yes for some time, then they'll say no some other time, right? Just like there's a sign in New York City, go to Paris and be happy. So when I took the flight, when I got to Paris, I saw a sign in the airport, go to New York and be happy. This is the nature of the material world, right? Okay, so now we're going to learn something very important today. And our lesson today is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse number 7. I'm sorry, verse number 4. Verse number 5. Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse number 5. This verse is very important, and we'll try and cover it quickly because it's getting a little late, but it's extremely important to understand how to get out of the quagmire of suffering, anxieties, and problems in this world. This verse says, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse number 5. This verse says, due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. So, everything depends on how we think, how we conceptualize, how we see. Due to the external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. So this is explaining why we suffer in life. We identify ourselves with something material. That's called the body, the material body. And the circumstantial situation of the body. I'm born in India, or I'm born in America, or I'm Latino, or I'm Russian, or I'm Japanese, or I'm Chinese. So Japanese don't like the Chinese. Chinese don't like the Japanese. So if I'm born in Japan, I inherit an enemy called the Chinese because of what the Chinese did to what the Japanese did to the Chinese in World War II. The Chinese don't like them, and because of what the Chinese did to the Japanese, they don't like them. Right? Or it's like if I'm born in South Korea, I don't like the North Korean communists. If I'm born in North Korea, I don't like the South Koreans. You see. So when we identify with something material that's not really us, like this body, like one time a person said, "You insulted my mother." The other person said, "Which one?" "What do you mean, which one?" "Well, you've already been born millions of times. So which one? There are 8,400,000 species of life. You've gone through all of them to get to the human form. So which mother are you talking about that I insulted?" That's a legitimate statement. We don't just have one mother. And even in this life, we don't have one mother. Because according to the Vedas, we have 7 mothers. We have our birth mother. We have our nurse. Just like I had a nurse when I was a kid. It was my auntie. She fed me. She did everything for me. My mother was working all the time. So, real birth mother, nurse, the wife of the guru, the wife of a Brahmin, the wife of the king, right? The earth, Mother Earth, and the cow. That's 7 mothers. So which mother was insulted? You see? Even a simple statement like that can become very complicated if you think about it deeply. So, when we identify with the wrong thing, whatever that thing is, we suffer along with it. Just like once, I've told this story before, but it's very instructive. There was a frog and a fish. And the fish said to the frog, "I love you, brother." And the frog said, "I'm very flattered." And the fish said, "Look, when you go away at night and I go away, I feel very lonely. I want to always be with you." The frog said, "Well, how's that possible?" I said, "I know," he said. I'll get a string of algae, seaweed, and I'll tie it to my leg, and you tie it to your leg, and we'll always be together." And the frog said, "Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. What if I want to go like this and you want to go like that?" He said, "Look, brother, if we love each other, we'll want to go together, won't we?" He said, "You're right." So somehow or other, they tied each other's leg to each other. And now they were together all the time, day and night. They were having fun. One day, a bird of prey came. They could see the shadow, and they looked up and they saw this gigantic bird, a hawk. And the hawk had his eyes on the fish. They don't like frogs that much. They're a little skinny, but the fish, nice and pulpy, you know. So the hawk swept down, grabbed the fish, and took the frog along. And the frog was thinking, "This was the dumbest thing I ever did in my life. I couldn't get away. I was trying to jump into the grass. The fish was trying to go into the deep water, and we both couldn't move, and the hawk got us, and now we're dead." You see? So when this example explains exactly why we suffer. When we identify with something that's not us, not our soul, whatever happens to that thing, we suffer. Just like, for example, I buy a ticket to go to India, I get on the airplane, and as we're flying over the Atlantic, the airplane starts going down. As soon as I got on the airplane, whatever happens to the airplane is going to happen to me. If the airplane goes down, I go down with it. You see? In the same way, if I identify with the body is subject to the laws of material nature. It's going to get old, it's going to get sick, it's going to die, it's going to get bitten by insects, it can get into an accident, you can break a bone, you can go blind. All these things are going to happen. It affects me because I identify with it. Just like I had a friend of mine, and one day I saw him, he was suffering. He said, oh, why did she leave me? I said, what's the matter? He said, I'm in love, and my girlfriend left. He said, your girlfriend? I said, is this new? He said, yeah. I said, how long have you known her? 3 days. I said, were you feeling like this a week ago? He said, no, I didn't know her a week ago. I said, what, you think you'll feel like this 10 years from now? He said, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'll have another girlfriend 10 years from now. So you see how artificial it is. He meets a girl 3 days before, he falls in love with her, and then she leaves him, and now he's suffering. Now, a month ago, he could have passed by her 100 times on the street, he wouldn't have caused any suffering. But because he became attached, and then she left, now he's suffering. You see how tenuous this thing is. It's all based on false attachments, false identifications. So here, we're going to read something very interesting. We're going to the purport now. Srila Prabhupada says, the root cause of suffering by the materialistic living beings is pointed out with remedial measures, which are to be undertaken, and also the ultimate perfection to be gained. All this is mentioned in this particular verse. The living being is by constitution transcendental to material engagement, but he is now imprisoned by the external energy, and therefore he thinks himself or herself one of the material products. Yes, I'm Punjabi, I'm Andhra Pradeshi, I'm Telangana, I am Tamil, I'm this, I'm that. But this is only a temporary identity. It only lasts as long as the body. What if in the next life you're born a dog in Norwegia? What does it mean? I'm Andhra Pradeshi in my past life. It's finished. They have no connection to it at all, you see. But because we think we are a material product made up of, I don't know, certain type of atoms. Just like there were 3 men waiting in a dentist's office. They all had a toothache. One was a Christian, one was a Muslim, and one was a Jew. So when the Christian went into the dentist said, open your mouth. Ah! So he looked in the mouth. He said, you got a cavity. He said, wait a minute. So what do you mean, wait a minute? He said, I want to tell you about my cavity. He said, what's there to know? It's a cavity. No, it's not a cavity. I'm a Christian, and this cavity is a Christian cavity. Do you understand? He said, okay, I'm sorry. He said, yeah, I think I understand. Can I drill it now? And okay, as long as you understand that. He said, okay. So he was finished, he left. The next guy came in. He sat down, he said, open your mouth. Ah! He opened his mouth. He said, you got a cavity. He said, should I fix it? He said, wait a minute. Before you fix it, you got to know about this cavity. He said, what's there to know? I said, this is a Jewish cavity. Do you understand? He said, what do you mean it's a Jewish cavity? It's just what I told you. This is a Jewish cavity. He said, okay. Does that change anything? If you accept it, you can drill it. I said, okay. I accept. It's a Jewish cavity. So he drilled him. He cleaned him up. He left. Then the Muslim came in. The Muslim came in. He sat down. He said, open your mouth. Ah! He opened his mouth. He looked in the mouth. He said, you got a cavity. He said, yeah. But you know what kind of cavity this is? He said, let me guess. Is it a Muslim cavity? He says, you're right. Now you can drill. Now, this dentist was in he's a little confusion. He said, now, look, I see cavities all day long. No one ever told me it was a Jewish cavity, Christian cavity. The cavity is a cavity, right? It's decayed tooth. Well, there's no label. It doesn't say Intel inside. Or it doesn't say Jewish inside, Christian inside. It's a cavity. But these guys, each one insisted that I accept it's a certain type of cavity. That's our problem. That's what it's talking about here. We're identifying with something that's not us. That's called Maya. That is exactly what Maya is. Just like once, there was a man and a wife, and one day the man said to his wife, he said, darling, he said, I'm going to buy a cow. A milk cow. He said, oh, great idea. I'm going to Sears right now. He said, okay, what are you going to get? He said, I'm going to buy 3 big buckets. He said, why 3? He said, well, I need 1 bucket for our milk, 1 bucket for my mom's milk, and 1 bucket for my brother's milk. He said, you're not going to buy 3 buckets. She said, why not? He said, I'm not giving any of the milk of the cow to your brother or your mother. Let them go buy some milk. So what do you mean let them go buy? If you don't do this, I swear I'll divorce you. What do you mean you divorce me? How can you divorce me? We just got married. I don't care. I'm going to serve my brother and my mother also with that milk. They got into a big argument. Finally, the wife threw a lamp at her husband. He ducked. It went through the window and crashed outside. And they were screaming at each other, and the whole neighborhood heard it. So the neighbor came over and he knocked on the door and said, hey, what's going on? She's not going to buy 2 more buckets. What do you mean 2 more? He's going to buy a cow and I'm going to serve some milk to my brother and mother. He said, wait a minute, just wait a minute. I'll be right back. I got the solution. So he ran to his house and came back with a baseball bat. And he started swinging it like this. And the husband said, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to beat the hell out of you because I'm going to plant some tomatoes, and the cow that you're going to buy is going to eat my tomatoes and step on the plants, and I'm going to beat the hell out of you. You see? You see how crazy people are, right? So this is all going on in the mind. It's not real, but they're arguing about something that's not real. That's the same as saying, I'm this body, I am this, I am that, this is mine. What is yours? Right? There was a king that lived in a big palace. And this was in India. And then, you know how India is. Somebody set up a little tent city outside on the wall because so many people are coming to see him. So they were all begging. And there was some pipe out there. And people were living in the pipe, passing stool and everything. You know what I'm talking about. So the king got really upset. He said, I'm passing a rule. Anyone that squats outside the wall of my palace, they're arrested. So they made a big announcement. The police came. They chased everyone away. So there was one sadhu. He said, this is nonsense. So he went and squatted there. So next day they told the king, he said, Raja, he said, there's one sadhu, he's sleeping outside the wall. He set up his ashram there. He said, what is this nonsense? So he said, I'm going to see this personally. So he came out with all his soldiers and said, what are you doing here? This is my palace. The sadhu looked at him and smiled and said, Haribol, Raja, Shanti, Shanti. What do you mean Shanti? I'm not Shanti. I just chased away everybody yesterday. What are you doing? I'm going to arrest you. He said, you're going to arrest me? He said, let me tell you something. You don't own this place. What do you mean? This is mine. He said, was it yours 20 years ago? He said, well, it belonged to this other king, but I defeated him, and I took it. He said, so 20 years ago, it didn't belong to you. Is it going to belong to you 20 years from now? He said, I don't know. He said, so you are like me. You're just a temporary resident in this place. And he said, you better be careful, he said. The way you treat people, you're going to get some bad karma. You better be kind. You think you're a big man? Just like you killed the previous king, some other king will come here and kill you. Then it'll be his. This put a chill in the back of the king, and he started thinking a little bit, He said, this man might be right. You see, we have to think like that. Just like my brother just sold his house in Philadelphia. You know how many years he lived in that house? 50 years. That was home for 50 years. Now, somebody else is in there. It's not home anymore. You see. So we're only here temporarily. And whatever we say, this is mine, how do you know it's yours? it's only going to be there a short while, and then it's not yours. Just like this body. This is me? But how can you say it's you? We've changed it hundreds of times in this lifetime, and it's changing more. So, here it says, people suffer because they identify with these temporary things, and whatever happens to that thing, it happens to them. Even though they're not that thing, but they're attached to it. Similarly, the threefold miseries of material existence cannot be mitigated simply by material activities. Such activities have to be spiritualized, just as... Oh, I'm sorry. I lost my place here. 1:7. I'm sorry. The living being is by constitution transcendental to material engagement, but he is now imprisoned by the external energy, and therefore he thinks himself one of the material products. And due to this unholy contact, the pure spiritual entity suffers material miseries under the modes of material nature. The living entity misunderstands himself to be a material product. This means that the present perverted way of thinking, feeling, and willing under material conditions is not natural for him. But he has his normal way of thinking, feeling, and willing. That's in our spiritual life. Our normal way of thinking, feeling, and willing is, I think I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. I feel it's normal because Krishna is Bhagavan and I am some little thing like this, but I can become his das, his servant, and he'll take care of me like he took care of the Pandavas and so many people. I'll also be his servant. And then we will, yes, this is my life. I'm going to adjust my whole life to be a servant of the Lord. The living being in his original state is not without thinking, feeling, and willing. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that the actual knowledge of the conditioned soul is now covered by nescience or ignorance. Thus the theory that the living being is the absolute impersonal Brahman is refuted here. In other words, we've always existed as a soul, and our soul thinks, feels, wills, has a form, is active, but it's covered over now by this material energy called the material body because we revolted against God. We refused to cooperate with God. Therefore, he gives us a material body in which we can try and be a little God in the material world. And every time we try and dominate and control something, it's temporary and we get into trouble. Thus, the theory that this cannot be because the living entity has his own way of thinking in his original unconditional state also. So there are a certain class of philosophers called the impersonalist or Mayavadi philosophers. They say you have to kill your ego. You have to kill this thinking, feeling, and willing and meditate on nothing or meditate on some light. If I pinch your eyes like this, your nose here, your third eye, you'll see some light inside. Yeah, if I pinch hard enough, you'll see red light, right? but that's not the eternal existence, right? If you try and stop thinking and feeling and willing, you'll go crazy. But that type of yoga is for people who suffer so much, they say, oh, I better, stop suffering by stop living, stop thinking, stop willing. It's an impossible thing to do. The present conditional state is due to the influence of the external energy, which means that the illusory energy takes the initiative while the Supreme Lord is aloof. The Lord does not desire that a living being be illusioned by external energy. External energy means Durga Mata, who's controlling it. The external energy is aware of this fact, but still she accepts a thankless task of keeping the forgotten soul under illusion by her bewildering influence. The Lord does not interfere with the task of the illusory energy because such performances of the illusory energy are also necessary for reformation of the conditioned soul. An affectionate father does not like his children to be chastised by another agent, yet he puts his disobedient children under the custody of a severe man just to bring them to order. But the all-affectionate Almighty Father at the same time desires relief for the conditioned soul relief from the clutches of the illusory energy. The king puts the disobedient citizens within the walls of the jail, but sometimes the king, desiring the prisoners' relief, personally goes there and pleads for their reformation. And on doing so, the prisoners are set free. Similarly, the Supreme Lord descends from his kingdom upon the kingdom of illusory energy and personally gives relief in the form of Bhagavad Gita, wherein he personally suggests that although the ways of illusory energy are very stiff to overcome, one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord is set free by the order of the Supreme. This surrendering process is the remedial measure for getting relief from the bewildering ways of the illusory energy. The surrendering process is completed by the influence of association. The Lord has suggested, therefore, that by the influence of the speeches of saintly persons who have actually realized the Supreme, men and women are engaged in his transcendental loving service. This is what's happening in this temple. The conditioned soul gets a taste for hearing about the Lord, and by such hearing only, he or she is gradually elevated to the platform of respect, devotion, and attachment for the Lord. The whole thing is completed by the surrendering process. Herein also the same suggestion is made by the Lord in his incarnation of Vyasadeva. This means that the conditioned souls are being reclaimed by the Lord both ways, namely by the process of punishment by the external energy of the Lord, or Durga Mata, and by himself as the spiritual master within, the Paramatma, and without, the present spiritual master or masters. Within the heart of every living being, the Lord himself as the super soul, Paramatma, becomes the spiritual master, and from without, he becomes the spiritual master in the shape of scriptures, saints, and the initiator spiritual master. This is still more explicitly explained in the next sloka. So here we have a wonderful explanation for the solution to all our problems, if we want to solve the problem. Some people say, oh, I like to suffer. Okay, what can we do? But if you're sick and tired of suffering, anxiety, is my husband going to keep his job? He's going to lose the job. Just like I was in Harivilas a couple of weeks ago, and I suggested to the devotees there, I said, we should open a temple. And one man's wife started to laugh. I said, what's so funny? He said, my husband has been working at Pfizer for the last 11 years with all the other people in this room. They all work for one company. There's only one big company in Harivilas. They just canceled his whole project that he's been working on 11 years. We don't know what we're going to do next week or next month. You see, that's the way the material nature is. You never know. You're thinking everything's going all right, 401k is going up, value of my house is going up, company is doing good, their stock is going up. And next week there's a hurricane, you no longer have a house. Hurricane took everything. Or not a hurricane, it's a tornado. Tornado came, took the house away, took the car away, took your grandmother away. What are you going to do? You see? So, we should put our faith in something real, not as something temporary. Krishna has never let down anybody. If you read the Vedic history, never let down anybody. He never gave a pink slip to anyone. In fact, when Krishna kills someone, they get a liberation, they get mukti. He killed Sisupala, Sisupala was liberated. He killed Kamsa, Kamsa was liberated. Marichi, he was very smart. Ravana said, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'll kill you. So Marichi said, should I be killed by this demon Ravana, or should I be killed by Ram? I choose to be killed by Ram. And he was killed by Ram. He obtained liberation. You see? So, we should take this seriously. This Srimad Bhagavatam has the solution to all our problems. Not only our personal problems, to all society. But nobody's interested. Everyone wants to read Harry Potter. They want to buy Playboy, say. So that's the problem. So we're trying to evoke interest in this subject. The subject of how you can stop all your suffering in life and become happy, peaceful, and full of love that you can share with others. Love for Krishna. This is a positive thing. There's nothing negative. There's no jihad in this message. So Anyway, thank you very much, and we will now, because it's a little late, go directly to the Arti. Hare Krishna. Yasumati Maya se Boli Nandulala Radha Kondori Mengontala Yasumati Maya se Boli Nandulala Radha Kondori Mengontala Radha Kondori Mengontala Radha Kondori Mengontala Boli Musukati Meya Lala Kondaya Boli Musukati Meya Lala Kondaya Boli Musukati Meya Lala Kondaya Kali Hari Hari Adu Rata Metuaya Kali Hari Hari Adu Rata Metuaya Lada Ratanaya Mirao Lada Ratanaya Mirao Kali Kamalurala Isali Kala Yasomati Meya Se Boli Nandulala Radha Kondori Mengontala Radha Kondori Mengontala Yasomati Meya Se Boli Nandulala Radha Kondori Mengontala Solo Yasomati Radha Kondori Mengontala Boli Musukati Meya Suramudikare Boli Musukati Meya Suramudikare Gori Gori Radhikate Gori Gori Radhikate Mengontala Kale Nenu Vali Nenu Kale Nenu Vali Nenu Aisa Jagudala Isuri Kala Yasomati Meya Se Boli Nandulala Radha Kondori Mengontala Yasomati Yasomati Meya Se Boli Nandulala Radha Kondori Mengontala Yasomati Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Hare
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। पंच कोश की चैतन्य प्रभु श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ संकुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद की जय। All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to the Son of the Lord. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
विश्वदेव भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, श्री श्री राधा लीला माधव की, गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for our wonderful young bhaktas. They're very inspiring every week. Now, I have lost the piece of paper with all the announcements on it. So, I don't know where it is. It was here before. It's not here now. You think so? Yeah, that's it. Okay, we got it. So, this week we want to thank our sponsors, Parth Chotani, Shivaram Krishnan, and Shantan Sharvani. So, Parth Chotani, Shivaram Krishnan, and Shantan Sharvani. Please come forward and get the mercy of Radha and Krishna. We want to thank you very, very much for sponsoring the feast today. Now, next Saturday, February 23rd, is celebration of Nityananda Trayodasi. Nityananda is the personal associate, he's the incarnation of Lord Balaram, who appeared with Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, Nityananda is Balaram. And we're going to have a big celebration, a big feast, and a lot of chanting on the occasion of Nityananda's appearance. Then on the 23rd of February, also, from 2 a.m., Nityananda Trayodasi will celebrate in the evening. But from 2 p.m. in the afternoon till 6 p.m., we have the Divya Prabandham recitation in the temple by Sri Vaishnavas. Divya Prabandham. On the 2nd of March, we begin our chess classes for children. C-H-E-S-S, not C-H-E-S-T, to build up your abs or something. This is chess to build up this muscle here, beginning from ages 6 to 15, and it'll be from 4 to 6 p.m. in the late afternoon. And on the 23rd of March, we have the Festival of Colors, 12 to 3 p.m. in Downtown Park in Redmond. It's basically a holy festival, but for everybody. So please keep that date. It's going to be a lot of fun. So now we're going to open up the mic for chanting. And our friend Prem Gupta is going to sing for us a bhajan. Here, you can hold.